Hello, ladies. Okay, so I have a question. There's a question that someone has, and I'd love to answer it. Okay. And so the question was, Tara, when did you know it was time to leave? When did you know it was time to leave your marriage, right? Or when did you know it was time to leave your toxic family? All right, y'all. Let's start with the first one. Because I actually left my toxic family before I left my marriage. It was probably like months apart. Months apart. And so when do you know when to leave? Okay. When do you know when it's time to leave? Ladies, look, check this out. It's a drink. And it's an energy drink. It helps you, it helps boost your metabolism, helps you burn calories, helps with the mental stimulation. I love this. I get it from the protein shop that I go to. And the little message is your energy is your currency. Spend it wisely. Oh, that is so powerful. So just taking a little sip because I'm a little, thirst a little dry. So good. All right. So when did I know it was time to leave? So the family, let's start with the family. So I knew it was time to leave my toxic family. Mind you, I was already living on my own. I'm been living on my own for a long time now. So I wasn't living with my parents or my parents and my siblings. I have three siblings who currently live with my parents. And when do you know when it's time to detach? When the disrespect gets real, when the disrespect gets louder than the peace, time to go. Time to go. For me, because it's a story time too. For me, it was so this was the end of my marriage. It was the end. I didn't know it was the end, but it was the end. And um my ex and our my youngest daughter, our youngest child, she was having a tough time in school. She was transitioning from elementary school to middle school, and she was having a tough time. Y'all, the school was calling me like once a week. I was getting called once a week. It was getting real, and it was getting really stressful because I still have my business to run. So I'm busy with work. I was in the middle of school. I think I had just started my master's degree, and I had a whole bunch of stuff going on. And I was stretched, and going through all the crap in my marriage, in my marriage, my past marriage. So it was rough. So I remember I had to wait until my ex like got off work and like had a day off. So I couldn't just come to him right away. I had to strategically plan it out. That's how it was in that relationship. If you were just to come out of nowhere with something, it would make the whole situation worse. So I had learned how to just wait until, a calm moment in a space where it's just he and I, because it works better. So we had just I he knew I wanted to talk to him. So we had just sat down and we were getting ready to have this conversation. We had just started. And I was just letting him know, like, man, I need help with parenting. I feel like I'm parenting alone. I'm dealing with getting the phone calls. They're saying you're not answering the phone calls when they're calling. So I have to deal with our child. And I'm stressed up to here and I don't know what to do at this point. So we had just started. And as soon as I began to explain what I just told you guys, I get a call from my sister, and I'm like, my younger sister, and I was like, I'll call her back later because I got to deal with this. So I ignored it. And then right after, my mom's number popped up. So I'm like, all right, this must be important. Let's put this on pause. Let's figure out what's going on. So I answered the phone, and it was my sister. No, I'm sorry, it's my mom. It was my mom. It had been my mom. They both were probably on speakerphone because they both were able to hear, and I was able to hear both of them. And the first thing they were like, hey, Esther, how you doing? Good, good, good. I'm like, good. They were like, my mom said, you don't sound like you're good. Are you okay? And I'm like, Mom, I'm okay right now. Are you okay? What's wrong? And then the first thing he's like, don't worry, no worry, nothing serious, nothing serious. But I'm in the hospital for X, Y, and Z. They're going to check me out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then they were like, don't worry, it's not serious, but we're worried about you. You don't sound like you're okay. And I'm like, Mom, right now, my youngest is cutting up in school right now, and I'm about to talk to her dad so we can figure out what we're gonna do. And say, okay, 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 no, no, no. And that was it for that at the moment. And then, he and I proceeded to talk, whatever. And then not even a week later, not even a week later, this blow up happened in my family. Not even a week later, my mom actually gets admitted to the hospital, I think up in PA, if I'm not mistaken. She was out of state. And I remember, like, because I didn't jump when I heard she was getting admitted, Now, my younger sister at the time did not have a job. She was not working. My older sister probably was not working at the time either. My youngest brother, I know, wasn't working at the time. So point is, there was other siblings that could have been there for her. I'm working, my marriage is falling apart, my kids acting up in school. Like my life needed my attention. It needed me to focus so I can get my family in order, my family. And so when I didn't jump to go visit my mom, when I didn't jump to do whatever they thought that I should have done, that's when all hell broke loose. Y'all, I don't know. I got dragged into a group messaging. You know how you do the group messaging, a family group messaging on a cell phone. Funny thing is, just shut my computer. Funny thing is, y'all, I have not been included in a group message probably 2 to 3 years prior to that. They stopped putting me in group messages. So I was always a left out loner. Like whenever something happened, I was always the last one to find out, still to this day. And I'm okay with that. So point is, they never included me in previous messages. It's so funny because I never knew they even had group messaging for the family until again, it's a few years back. Until one day, one of my siblings was talking like, "Oh, you didn't get the group? You didn't see it in the group message?" I'm like, there's a family group message. But I was okay with it. There's drama. So I was all right with it, y'all. So I got dragged into this group message and I thought that was pretty funny. So I'm my oldest brother started. So I'm seeing everyone's messaging. I'm just watching, whatever. And then I waited a couple hours before I responded. When I finally did respond, something I think I made a joke about it because my older brother was like, he started a message out with, please tell me that no one visited mom in the hospital because y'all were too busy saving people out of a burning building. Y'all, me and my older brother, we are two peas in a pod. We are two strong and stubborn people. So my silly self was like, yes, we couldn't go see mom because we were too busy saving people out of burning buildings, which was probably not the best response. But y'all, that's how I did. I'm lighthearted. I like to make it light because and then once I said that is when all hell broke loose in that message. It was because the reason why I was in the group message was because it was for me. It was meant for me. It was meant for all that to come to me. All that. One person was mad. I'm not going to tell you who it was. One person in the family is mad that I didn't jump when they wanted me to jump. So that person went about, and we call this flying monkeys. If you know about narcissism, they have flying monkeys. So if one person wants something done and they don't want to do it themselves because that person knows that I would shut it down, they're going to go around it. They're going to get this person, that person, whoever they can get. And that's what it was. All the flying monkeys were in this group message, which is my siblings. And y'all, it got like when I noticed that that was towards me, because after I put that in there, that's when all hell broke loose. So I called the family member who had an issue with me. I called not the one who started, but I called the family member who had an issue with me. And I'm like, you could have just called me, call me and ask, why haven't I been to see mom? Talk to me, because then I would tell you that my life is falling apart right now. And yeah, I can go see mom, but she's not in a situation where she's losing her life. There's other siblings that can be there for her that don't have a job. No one's gonna help me with my kids. No one's gonna watch my kids. No one's gonna handle the school problems. Like I didn't have a chance to explain this at all. Probably to this day, I didn't have a chance to explain this. That whatever my reasoning was, but all the darts came, and then that family member didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear none of it. It was, you're wrong. You need to go. You do what we ask you to. You do what we tell you to do, or you're gonna get shunned. That's not what he said. They said. Not what they said. But the person was just like, they didn't want to hear it. They don't want to hear. I don't want to hear the excuses. Whoa. So point is, that's when you know it's time to leave. It's time to leave. That was wild. If anyone has a problem with me, especially my family, y'all pick up the phone, text me, call me, come see me, and we can talk. But that's not how this family is. This family, you move when they say move, how they move, when to move. And that's not fair because what about my life, my responsibilities? I wouldn't expect them to do the same either. Anyhow, so that's when you know when to leave, when the disrespect gets real and there's no peace. Like, whoa. And it hurts. That doesn't mean you stop loving them. Doesn't mean you stop praying for them. it just means you have to keep your distance. It's time to roll. They have to do what they got to do, and I got to be out of that. All right. So then, Tara, when do you know when to leave a relationship? Same thing. When the disrespect gets louder than the peace. So when did I know? It was a lot of little things for me, y'all. It was a lot of little things. So aside from my ex and my ex marriage, besides him blatantly not respecting me and my boundaries and his commitment to our marriage, besides that, I mean, that alone right there should have been enough for me to leave. But I stayed. So besides that, it's when the disrespect is real. So I'm trying to point out a moment. One was I was at my daughter plays basketball, both of them play basketball, but we were at my oldest daughter's basketball game and I was with her dad's girlfriend. Love her to pieces. We get along so good. She's so great. She loves my daughter, did right by my daughter. So we tend to sit together at the basketball games. And at the time, my ex, we sat away from each other. We had to because he was so loud. He was so loud. He gets into it. He's into sports, and that's great. He's always been a loud person when sports come in. I ain't mad at it, but that's why we had to separate because he just be in my ear. I'd be just chilling, and then like my eardrum would go boom because he's just like boom. So no matter how many times I was like, listen, if you're gonna sit next to me, you gotta bring it down a little bit. If not, then that's fine. Go have fun over there, right? That's how it's always been. Well, not always. I'm looking back now, that's how he made it. But so I was sitting with her. We were, and again, this is the end of my marriage. I didn't know it was the end. This is how I'm looking back. This is how it played out. I was having a good time with her. We were laughing, joking, and my ex, ain't no happiness around here. If somebody gonna be happy, it's gonna be him, not me. So we're out here laughing, joking, hee ha ha. And then he slowly comes up to where he's sitting next to me. And I watched him come over and I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, this is nice. So we're she and I are still talking, laughing, giggling, and then out of nowhere, this scream is in my ear again. And I'm just like, whoa, why are you right next to me screaming in my ear? And so she and I both look, and then we look at him. And I was like, yo, that's my ear. And he's like, and he said it low enough. I think she heard it, but he said it low enough so that it was just an earshot of us. He says, fine, I'll never sit next to you again then. And proceeded to slide away a little bit. And I'm just like, oh. But you see, that was meant for me to cower down, for me not to laugh, for me not to joke, and for me just to take it. I'm used to this. I did it with my family. So, Tara, when do you know when to leave? When the disrespect gets real? That was real. And that was in front of somebody. Usually he would be disrespectful behind closed doors. That was in front of somebody. And I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. And that was enough for me. After that is when I started putting things in motions and I was done. Y'all, I was done. Because if he can do that, like, so it started climbing out from behind closed doors. And I shouldn't have let it go on behind closed doors. I shouldn't have. But when it began to happen in public, if I had stayed, it would have kept going and it would have been worse. Like, and then y'all know where I'm going with this. So that is my story time. So when you guys ask me, like, Tara, when do you know when to leave? Again, when the disrespect gets real, especially if you are respecting them, their space, their privacy, them, everything. If you respect them and you're not getting it back, you got to roll. You got to roll. It means they don't like you. Oh, they don't like you. Whoa, Tara, did you just say that? But that's my husband, Tara. What do you mean he don't like me? He don't like you. My husband didn't like me. If my husband had liked me, he would have respected the fact that I've asked him several times not to scream in my ear. If my family liked me or even loved me, they would not have triangulated me into a toxic situation. They would not have made me feel guilty for taking care of my family. Oh, by the way, my mom's great. Mom's great. Mom's doing great. And guess what, y'all? She's still toxic. But um, we love them. We don't stop loving them because they're toxic. But what we have to do is we have to guard our heart. We have to protect ourselves. Because if we don't take care of us, how can I give to anybody else? My children, the ladies that I work with, my clients that in my business, my doggy business, y'all, we have to respect. I give respect, so I expect it back. I respect boundaries, so I expect that back. So, Tara, when is it time to leave? It's time to leave when you're not getting respect. Because if you don't get respect, it's not going to get any better, no matter what you do. And that's what it is. So y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed that little bit of a story time. I like sharing these stories with you guys because I'm hoping that one day or one time somebody be like, oh my God, Tara, I'm going through the same thing too. What do I do? Because that was me. When I realized I'm going through something that somebody, I'm like, oh my God, how do they get out of that? Like, what do you do? What? Right? And so I'm hoping that the same thing happens. Someone's like, man, Tara, that's happening to me too. I didn't know that this was not normal. I didn't either. Now we know. So y'all, if you want to coach, hit me up. Let's go. Let's do this thing because y'all, I love it. I love it. I love helping families heal. I love helping women heal. I love walking this journey with you ladies and seeing you come out on the other side. There's peace, there's joy, there's love. It's like a rebirthing type of thing when you come out of toxicity. And so yeah, so that is my story time. I hope you guys enjoyed. If any of this resonates with you, share it with someone else, right? And I mean, y'all, we gotta do better. Ladies, we gotta do better. All right, so stay hydrated, stay beautiful, stay educated, ladies, and I will see you next time.